Hi, y'all. Today we're going to talk about no contact. So, first, I want to go over what no contact is, how do you do it, what makes it different in this relationship with a narcissist, why you would have to do it with that versus if you're in a healthy relationship, and my experiences in doing it such. So, let's look at what is no contact. So, no contact would be a prolonged period of detachment from your abuser, which would include no contact via phone, social media, the mail, email, and in person. So the way to do that would be to block them on your telephone, to block them on social media so that you can't see what they're posting and they can't see what you're posting. And that also is a protective measure because when you're trying to move on and be healthy, the last thing you want to be able to do is to access their information and to kind of see that it's going to stunt that process of healing. So it's very protective and it helps you move on through your healing journey. Now, I want to talk about why you have to do that when you're leaving a narcissistic relationship versus when you're in a healthy relationship and you both decide it's not working out or however it goes, even if the breakup is horrible. The difference would be with a narcissist, the whole situation with them is abuse. It's an abusive relationship versus a healthy relationship is just two normal people, or I should say normal, I would say healthy people in a relationship together that has decided that is no longer working. But with a narcissist, because it's an abusive relationship, you have to do no contact. And so what tends to happen is you might implement the no contact and then things that happen like a smear campaign. Basically what that is what it sounds like. They're going to smear your name to people that are called parents. And what that is a group of people that they gather themselves around for validation, for their opinions, to cater to their needs, for attention, and to stroke the ego. So that can be like co-workers, friends, sometimes it's their family. So it's just a group of people that they are smear your name to in order to keep this sense of them going, which is what they call a false self, because they have a false persona to everyone else. So you're going to end up being smeared to those people. And then what they usually end up doing is what they call hoovering. And it's named after the Hoover vacuum. And what that is a toxic partner attempts to reinstate contact with you for the sole purpose of feeling on your emotions, toying with them, and then getting back control. So hoovering can come in all kinds of forms. It could be them calling from a different number and you answering and not knowing it's them. It could be texting from a different number. It could be finding different ways to contact you. I've had all experiences on that end. So the Hoover technique is to get you back in contact with them, basically. So that's one thing that they do as well. Another thing they might do is called triangulation. What that is bringing other people in the relationship for the sole purpose of the smear campaign. And what they normally do is these people can be ex-lovers, they can be a mistress, they can be relative. Sometimes it's a stranger, but they basically create a triangle where they're at the top, you're here, and then that other person's there. And it can sound something like, oh, I heard from this person and, they agree with me that you have this issue, or, oh, this person's trying to contact you. They came through me. And that would be a mixture of Hoover and triangulation. So these are techniques that they will use to try to make you break the no contact. But what I found is there's ways to keep no contact by just searching within yourself on things that you can implement for coping mechanisms. Because after you get out and you know that you want to go into the healing side of things, which could be a self-care journey, self-love journey, or just healing from the trauma. So what ends up happening is you go back to doing things that you used to do before you entered into the relationship. And that's what I find that helps. So you're going to need a good support system. And if you don't have family in your area, you can find forums on Facebook or just the internet itself. YouTube is very helpful. I find yoga is great. CBT is good as well, which is cognitive behavior techniques. And they have a lot of videos already posted on YouTube for that. If you follow my channel, I have a list of that under my channel. I've got a list of things about narcissism too, but today I wanted to keep it focused on no contact and basically what that is and what happens when you start to implement it with an abuser, especially a narcissist or anybody in that cluster B personality trait. So with no contact, it's not an easy journey because what happens is when you're in the abuse cycle, your body goes through what they call a biochemical change. And what happens is your serotonin levels plummet, but all of your stress hormones increase. So your hormones increase, your chemicals in your body automatically go up. So you in this imbalanced state all the time because your body's fight or flight mechanism is broken per se. So what ends up happening there is you live in a constant state of panic and fear. And the narcissist uses, you know, pain, and then he also uses pleasure. So you go through the cycle of pain and pleasure all over and over and over. And what ends up happening is your body's response is glued to that. You end up responding only to pain and pleasure coinciding as one. So what they also call that is a trauma bond. And because you go through a trauma with that person, your body builds this bond that's also in the same category with the Stockholm syndrome. And what that is when you develop an empathy for your abuser, and then you'll find yourself, making excuses for them. You'll find yourself protecting them. That really is what it ends up being. And it's because of the biochemistry that has formed in your body because of your trauma experience with them. So the trauma bond and all that goes together. But what I find and what I've read and through my research is exercise is great for that. So I don't per se like the gym. So what I end up doing is I go on Pinterest and I find exercises to do at home. So I have done a regimen where I implement it into my daily life and I do it every day. And I notice right away starting off doing it, I feel balanced. And then once I step outside to get my normal serotonin levels up, then I'm kind of evened out. And so to help with the other portion of that, I do yoga plus CBT. I found a book on that, which I'll leave in the comments, but that also helps with the mind, because what I find is a lot of the battle is going to be in your subconscious. So it's a lot of rebuilding that you have to do during no contact, and it's a part of that healing journey that you're going to have to go through. But as long as you create a great support network, as long as you find things that you can do to cope that are healthy, looking up information, getting on these forums and just talking or reading, journaling, whatever you find is going to help with the no contact journey, I suggest. And sharing a little bit about my journey. I went for 3 weeks and it was hard because of the trauma bonds, but I did go 3 weeks. I went 3 weeks and I was contacted on a forum I didn't even know I still had there, which was POF. And I was going through email and I was in one of those folders and I clicked on it because I saw his name and I was like, oh, he sent me someone there. So I read it and I didn't respond right away. I let some days go by. And then I had a really hard day where I couldn't shake any of it. And I didn't use I used my coping mechanisms, if I remember correctly, but I was drowning. And so I decided to reach out and respond on that particular forum and go back and forth and converse there. So I did. And that same day we met up and I reestablished contact. But the problem with that is it hit the reset button, like nothing ever happened. So I got tangled back up into the abusive cycle. And of course, a trauma happened. And then I implemented no contact again for a week. And then I reinstated contact again because I was triangulated. And then the hoovering happened with it concerning someone in the family. So I thought it was a true emergency. I reached out and it wasn't. And then another trauma happened. So there was another week of no contact. And so I finally implemented it this time and haven't done anything since the 5th. So I want to say about 3 weeks now, or going on 3. There's been no contact. So I think now that I've learned what I've learned, I've gotten stronger at it. And I know that reaching out and when you feel at your lowest point and that you can't do it, it's just some other things that you need to work out. So I just want to encourage you and let you know that you can do it and it can be done, and I'm here to help you.